Good morning to you. I am Mark Sudduth, and here's what's up in the tropics. It is Saturday, the 17th of September, 2022. We have a lot going on out there. We're going to focus primarily on Fiona here. This is the latest Hurricane Center Outlook map. There's Fiona down in the Caribbean, and then a couple of other areas out there that are barely even worth the time to mention. In the Eastern Pacific, we do have Lester. That is going to be making landfall in Mexico shortly, and then a couple of other areas, of course, that we need to keep an eye on over the coming days. But the primary issue here, at least for the Western Hemisphere, is going to be Fiona. Later today, I'll take a look at this very powerful typhoon that is going to be headed for Japan. We certainly want to address that, and I'll do so this afternoon with my hurricane outlook and discussion. For now, here's the satellite animation. There's the sort of messy, overall disheveled look to everything in the Eastern Pacific. Just a lot going on there. Lester is in there somewhere, primarily a rain threat for portions of southern and central Mexico there on the Pacific side. And then there's Fiona. It looks a lot more menacing, I think, than it is. And if we slide the satellite animation over to the east a little bit, there's Fiona almost front and center. And then there are these other impulses, several of them out all across the Atlantic, but nothing that looks too threatening to develop anytime soon. Zooming in here on the visible, early morning visible satellite animation frames, there's a lot to look at here. Yes, Fiona looks more organized, but if we go to the radar animation, it tells a different story. The center is very difficult to find overall. The wind field is not quite as strong as one would think with that satellite presentation. In fact, it looks like the center may have been tracking more south than it has been over the last day or so, losing latitude just a little bit, so tracking south of due west. Nevertheless, there are some heavier rain bands rotating around, but not a very easily definable center here on the radar coming out of San Juan. The track map for our two systems, there's Lester, again approaching Mexico today, and then there is Fiona over in the Caribbean. We can zoom in on that. And it's interesting, like I said, the center itself from the recon fix, as they call it, south of the forecast track just a little bit, and that could have some implications down the road on where this ends up. We do have a few of our cameras down there. That's what those little orange areas are. Those are permanent cameras from some of our Patreon supporters. I will be tweeting those out a little later today. All right, before I let you go, here's what it looks like on the ECMWF ensemble plot. This is from the 0Z last night. The stronger members are going to be on the right-hand side of that black squiggly line there, so to speak, especially late in the period. That's the ensemble mean. The weaker members, especially early, are on the left side, and those are the members that get this closer to the United States. And there are a fair amount of those members that do get close to Florida, the southeast coast. So the stronger this gets earlier, the more chance it has to turn north after the Caribbean and perhaps out maybe near Bermuda and then up towards the Canadian Maritimes. We're going to have to wait and see. Bottom line, folks, it is a complicated pattern, not just with the steering, but actually what happens with the structure of Fiona really these next 2 to 3 days. So a lot to unpack and unravel here as we go forward, and I will do so at least a little bit more to the best of my ability later this afternoon with the hurricane outlook and discussion. For now, thanks for tuning in to What's Up in the Tropics. Again, I am Mark Sudduth. I'll be back with more for you later this afternoon.